He's one of the most well-known names of our time, so how about making a movie all about his origins? Well, they've done just that, and I've been to see it, so let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to another video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the latest movie, The Apprentice, that dropped in cinemas this weekend, starring Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump. And before we do start talking about that movie, just a friendly reminder, as always, that these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you decide to go and see the film in cinemas, because you may go and see it and feel totally differently to me, and that is okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. And also, before I start talking about this movie, I just thought I'd mention that this is not a review, a political video about Donald Trump. This is a video reviewing the movie made about him. I just want to kind of put that out there. This is not me criticising anyone's opinions on Donald Trump. We all have different opinions. We all have the right to a different opinion on him as a person. And, you know, all I'm really going to say is, me personally, I don't agree with the majority of things he says and does. But that's not to say that I'm going to dislike somebody that does agree with some of the things he says. We all have a right to opinion, and this is not a video that is aiming to discuss political opinions and things like that. I just want to put that out there, because this is not a place to kind of start these wars and arguments about him as a political figure of power. Essentially, this is a video about the movie. That's enough of that said. Let's start talking about the film. And do you know what? I was really quite intrigued to go and see this film, because I don't know anything really about Donald Trump. You know, I don't live in America. I've never lived a life under his control and his authority. So to kind of learn a little bit about his past and understand sort of how he became who he was and gain the power that he holds interests me, because I don't really know much about him. So the kind of thought of, there's a film that's come out that sort of explains his origin story, I thought that would be quite interesting to watch. And it was, but it also wasn't. I didn't really know what to expect about this film. I heard it was an origin story, in quotation marks, and it was that, but it also wasn't. I didn't know what to expect, yet I kind of knew what to expect. It was a weird combination, and to be totally honest with you, I didn't really gain much from it. I learned a little bit about him. I wouldn't say a dramatic amount. I wouldn't say as much as I hoped to learn about him. It was basically, essentially, an origin story from him when he starts in a little bit of a controversial position, where he's having some trouble with a lawsuit. He recruits a lawyer, they sort out this case. This lawyer teaches Donald Trump loads of things and sort of helps him to become who he is today. And that was more so it. I was expecting, maybe wrongly expecting, kind of from day of birth all the way till, you know, the day he became president, you know, something like that. So I actually kind of followed his life. It was more so a case of following on from him after this court case, and then it just sort of followed his relationship with his lawyer and things like that. So it wasn't really what I expected. I do like the fact that this film doesn't paint him out to be this perfect person. It shows his flaws, it shows his strengths, because everybody has flaws and everyone has strengths. So it isn't a biased movie in that way. It's not biased to a certain opinion, which I quite like. But ultimately, I really expected a little bit more. I expected to learn a bit more, and I kind of expected to leave the cinema knowing a bit more about who he was, his journey to becoming president, and I didn't. Again, this film's quite a long film. If you watched a movie review that I've done before, you'll know I'm not really a fan of long movies, and I do feel like, more so in certain parts of the film, it was a dragged out film. There were parts that were just really unnecessarily long, that were really unnecessarily dragged out, and I just feel like, get to the point, because this is almost a biography type film, and it was just going on and on and on. And yeah, I felt they could have used that time to teach you a little bit more about his life, instead of dragging out these almost pointless things, in my opinion. Obviously, when we got to sort of sections about him building Trump Tower and things like that, it did start to pick up a little bit more. It started to become a little bit more interesting. But on the whole, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't find this film very interesting, very informative. I feel like I know a little bit more about him, but nothing major. And at the end of the film, he says a very, very controversial line, and that, to me, almost solidified my opinion on him. And from what I heard, it also solidified other people's opinions of him, because a lot of people were saying a lot of opinionated things about Donald Trump as I left the cinema screen. So I'm not really sure what they aimed to get out of this film, what they wanted to, whether it was just literally just to inform people, I'm not too sure. But I'm not a fan of that film, and to be quite honest, that's all I can really talk about. I wasn't a fan. I didn't find it very informative, very interesting. I just found it a little bit of a dragged out film that didn't really serve much of a purpose. And it just, like I say, solidified my opinion of him as a person. So other than that, that is all I've really got to say about The Apprentice. That's not a huge amount, although having said that, it is now been 6 minutes. So I don't know what I've been talking about, but there you go. There is my thoughts on The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan. It's in cinemas right now, if you want to go and check it out. And of course, before I wrap up this movie review, what to rate out of 10, and will I be buying it on physical media? On DVD, well, I'm giving this film a 3 out of 10. It wasn't for me. I found it a little bit interesting, but on the whole, not really. I just felt it wasn't a very well casted film, and just not really my kind of vibe. So will I be buying it on physical media, on DVD? Well, the answer to that is no. I have no intentions on adding this movie to my physical media collection. And other than that, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. In the description below, as always, is a link to the movie trailer, the movie plot, and a link to my movie review playlist, which features every movie review that I've ever done. Plenty more to come very soon. And other than that, I shall see you in another video, and hopefully another movie review very soon.